What is up, folks? Let me make sure my AirPods are connected. Hey, good evening. Today's Tuesday. My name is Labria Jones. I am here to answer your questions about landing remote work. I am currently at my parents' house in Tallahassee. If you went to FAMU, happy homecoming. I came home to enjoy homecoming festivities. Yeah. If you don't know what FAMU it is, it's the number one HBCU in the country. And that's not debatable, to be clear. Um, all right. I always start with the questions that are on Instagram first. So I'm going to go to the Instagram post and start answering those questions. Can you guys drop me something in the comments if you can hear me? I want to make sure you can hear me. Just drop a note in the comments if you can hear me. If you're on the replay, I think the comments do show up as well. I try to make sure I restate the questions that are showing up in the comments, just in case you don't see the comments. If I forget to, I apologize for that. And guys, also feel free to subscribe to the channel, like, share this video. And if you haven't already, the best place to start with me helping you is by grabbing my free guide with my favorite places to find remote work. That's the best place to start. And I'd also say, if you grab that guide, you got to use it. Like, make sure you use the guide. Um, and also, the next step I'd say is also getting the Remote Ready bundle. So, the Remote Ready bundle is a mini course that I provide. It's less than $50. Thank you, Tracy. It's less than $50, and it guides you through the 4 phases of landing a remote job. So the first phase, I walk you through like where to find the remote jobs. There's actually a list of 75 places to find remote jobs in that thing. And I also teach you how to like search like a ninja, like a wizard. And then phase 2, I walk you through how to apply for the job. Because I honestly believe there's a wrong way to do it. Like, you don't just hit the apply button. Like, you got to be intentional about it. You got to be strategic about it. And then phase 3, we talk through how to nail the interview. A lot of people get tripped up at the interview phase. Like, a lot of people walk into interviews the wrong way. And then the last part is how to negotiate the offer that I hope you're going to get, right? Hi, Kathy. How you doing? All right, let's get started because I am anxious and eager to go hang out with my parents, go work out. I've been traveling pretty much all day. And I'm eager to get to hang out with my folks here in Tallahassee. But for now, I'm eager to answer your questions. So let's do that first. I'm going to go to the post on Insta and see who drops them. There's looks like only 3 questions here. So it'll be easy. I'll be able to get to your questions on the live pretty quickly. Okay, first question is, would you advise someone on how to transition to other remote positions that are not customer service when you've been in health insurance for over 20 years? Yeah, sure. I'll do a little bit of that. To be clear, I'm not a career coach, right? So it's tough for me to give you advice on like what career you should move into, because I think that really depends on what your strengths are as well. And so I tell people, try to take the Strengths Finder quiz, and I'll drop a link to it in the description box to get clear on, what type of work are you strong in. I also recommend people there's this 16 personalities quiz. And it tells you if you've ever seen people say what their Myers-Briggs personality type is, like ENFP, which is what I am. It kind of details, how your brain works, how you think, how you, hi Vanessa from Orlando, how you communicate, how you process information and stuff like that. What I love about the 16 personalities quiz, 1 is it's free, and 2, it's super detailed. And I think it goes into some detail about what types of work is great for you. So I think one of the things I'd say to people that are trying to figure out what career to move into, one of the things that you should kind of do is figure out what your strengths are and what does your personality naturally lend towards. I landed in project management because naturally I like to take ownership and leadership. I naturally am very good at synthesizing information and getting it down to its most important parts. And I'm pretty good at problem solving. Really, really good at that, and good at managing teams and collaborating with teams. So this was just not just a good fit for my background, but a good fit for me personality wise, right? So I think that's something that people got to start thinking about and start doing. Okay, so to get to you specifically, though, transitioning from don't want to do customer service, she's been in health insurance. It's tough for me to answer that question without understanding what you did in health insurance, right? Because health insurance is pretty vague. It's just kind of a thing. Did you do underwriting in health insurance? Are you doing health insurance sales? Did you do human resources at a health insurance company? I'd love to know what exactly you did in health insurance. And this is JF Broom 94. If you're on this, drop in the comments and let me know what exactly you do. I'll, in the meantime, answer this question in general. I'd say no matter what it is that you do, there are aspects of your job that you enjoy, right? So what I'd say is take those aspects and start to look for positions that include those aspects that you enjoy. So let's say you work in health insurance, and say you work in sales. Well, sales you can do anywhere. You don't just have to do that for health insurance, right? Um, is that the same person? Okay, I'll come back to that. Um, but yes, that's definitely some scammy shit, some scammy stuff. Um, so if you're trying to transition careers, look at the work that you do. If you work in sales, if you work in human resources, for the most part, a lot of the work that we do is transferable. These skills are transferable. You could even just say, let me take a few of the skills that I have and do a Google search for remote jobs plus that skill, right? I think actually a viewer said that in in a previous Q&A. She actually put that in the comments, and I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Like, do that. Take one of your skills and do a Google search for that skill plus remote jobs, and you find that there's probably other remote jobs in other fields that have those same skills. A lot of times, like we're sitting on skills that are transferable across industries, right? So you're not pigeonholed into because you work in health insurance, you got to continue to work in health insurance. Like, what do you do in health insurance? And can you do that somewhere else? So again, tough to answer that question without knowing more detail about what you do specifically. But I would say again, just take the work that you currently do in that health insurance for that health insurance company and identify the things that you enjoy doing and start to see, what other kind of positions or jobs or companies hire for that type of experience. And then the other piece is really just kind of getting to know yourself better and where you naturally would shine and where your strengths are. And again, I'll post those quizzes that I mentioned in the description box. The next question was, how much longer will you be offering the Remote Ready bundle? I love that you split it into payments, that you have split payments in place, and I love what you're doing. Thank you for that, Nappy Girl. I appreciate it. Um, if you don't know the Remote Ready bundle, you can actually buy it in two payments. And part of the reason for that is I've been unemployed 3 times in my career. I've been employed 3 times in my career, and so I know what it's like to not necessarily have, $50 to shell out immediately and needing to spread things out. I mean, heck, I've had positions where I just didn't make a lot of money, um, and needed to spread things out, and so that's why you can do it in split payments, just to alleviate some of that stress of having to let go of close to $50 at one time. I was just talking to somebody about how 15, 12, 16, 17 years ago when I had my daughter, I was in school full time. I was working full time, but I wasn't making that much. And I was on food stamps. I was getting Medicaid. I was sharing a twin bed with my daughter. Um, and so I've definitely been in positions where, and again, I've been unemployed 3 times in my life. I've been on unemployment 3 times. And if you've been on unemployment, like it's not a lot of money. Um, the first time I was still in college, so it wasn't I didn't have grown up bills. But 2 times after that, I had a whole kid, I had things to pay for. So that's why it's split. I went on a tangent a little bit there, but that's why it's split into 2 payments, because I want it to be palatable. But I don't ever plan on not offering the Remote Ready bundle. If anything, I may enhance it next year sometime next year, because there's a feedback survey and some of you have filled out that feedback survey to let me know what worked well, what are things that you'd like to see added to it. And so if anything, I may enhance it. And I will say that if the price goes up, I would actually add a third installment as well, just to make it again more palatable. Hopefully that answered your question. Made Over asked, What do you look for in a project opportunity that makes you decide to take it on? And what do you look for if when you have to choose your team to get the project completed? In my line of work, I don't decide my projects. My company decides what projects to put us on. Um, for all intents and purposes, like I was about to say something wildly inappropriate. For all intents and purposes, we get pimped. We don't decide. We don't decide what we work on. Not really. I mean, I think, for where I work, and just to be clear about where I work for a consulting firm. So the way consulting firms, if you don't know, are set up is they get clients. They are constantly trying to bring in clients and bring on um, new work, new business. And when they get those projects, when they get that new business, they go and pick a team to put on those projects, right? And usually they are selling our hours, right? So um, we get, what is the word, graded, evaluated on how many billable hours we work. So we bill hours to our clients. And so our company goes and sells our time to people. And so we don't really have a say on what kind of projects we work on, aside from, having a great relationship with leadership. Like leadership understands that, at one point, I think I worked on a project at one point I didn't want to travel. My daughter was really young. I couldn't really travel a whole lot. So they understood that I needed to be on local projects. Right. Um, and now we're at a place where I typically get put on a lot of the bigger projects because I'm more senior. I get put on agile projects because I have agile experience. I'm the most agile experienced project manager we have. And I've made a reputation for being a great rescue PM. So projects that are in chaos or going off the rails, I get put on those quite often. So in my case, I don't decide that, and sometimes I participate in the team in uh, recommending who should be on the team. But I guess I'd say for you, if let's say I would, let's make this hypothetical. If I did decide my projects, how would I decide to take it on? What do you look for in a project opportunity, and what makes you decide to take it on? I'd say a couple of things. One, uh, thank you guys. I love it when y'all help each other out. Because I was going to come back to that, and I still will. Um, I'd say I'd have criteria such as, am I going to learn something? Right? Is this project going to set me up for success or set me up for failure? Right? Um, and would this project challenge me and help me develop and grow and learn? And then, of course, is this project going to be profitable? Those would be the criteria I would uh, assess to decide if it's a good opportunity. And if I was to choose my team to get the project done, I mean, it really just depends on what the no problem. It really just depends on what the project is, right? And what the project needs. I'll say, for example, we had just gotten a huge client. I can't say the client's name, but they are one of the biggest retailers in the US, if not the world. Um, and we were trying to staff that project team. Well, we wanted a few things. We wanted people who were tenacious and problem solving and didn't need to be micromanaged, right? People that would feel comfortable, sitting on a client call and answering questions and and asking questions and taking the initiative and digging deep. We wanted someone on the project who was more senior and someone on the project that was fairly new that could learn because this was a great learning opportunity and development opportunity. And we wanted people who worked well together because on this particular project, we were going to be traveling a lot. And this was a really high risk project that was already in the red. Like they came to us and said, save us, please, with a very short timeline, almost completely unrealistic project goals and timelines. So we needed a team that was going to work well together and get through the phases of forming as a team pretty quickly. So those are the kind of things I would think about. Would love to talk more if you have more questions on that. All right, so let me get to your questions here. We have 15 minutes. Let me scroll up. All right. I had 3 companies contact me about remote work. They seem like scams. They want me to deposit checks into my account at the start. How can you tell if the company is legit? Well, I must first say, if your gut is telling you that something's shady, then something's probably shady. If a company asks you to deposit checks, if a company asks for your social security number, if a company asks for you to pay for something, It's not legit. I mean, obviously, a company needs your social security number to pay you, but they don't need that until after they hire you, right? Um, but I actually did a blog post, and I think I did a video a couple of months ago about how to tell if a job is a scam. I'm going to kind of recap that if I can remember what I said. A few things that you can do if you think that a position is a scam. One, check your gut. This is not in the blog post, but I'm going to add it to the blog post. Check your gut, right? Our intuition, especially as women, is usually pretty spot on. I mean, raise your hand, like drop a yes in the comments if you have ever regretted not listening to your intuition. If you have ever regretted not listening to actually, you know what? Drop a amen in the comments if you have ever regretted actually listening to your intuition. I have never listened to my intuition and regretted it. Never once. Amen if you agree. Amen if you agree. I have never been like, oh, let me listen to my intuition and then been like, damn it, I shouldn't have listened to myself. Never once. Right. So, one, if your gut says it's a scam, then it's probably not for you. But a couple of things that you can do to actually check is what they're asking you for, does it make sense? Right? Does this make sense? Like, why would they need to do this? Um, Three, what you can do also is do some research. So there's a website called Glassdoor, and you can look companies up on Glassdoor. And a lot of times you'll get reviews from existing employees on Glassdoor, right? So existing employees will, post things about what it's like to work at the company. Do they pay well? What are the average salaries? What is management like? And sometimes they'll even grade the CEO. And quite honestly, before I took my job, I did a search on them on Glassdoor, and there were some disparaging comments about the company and the CEO, the company that I work for. And I brought that up in our first conversation. I actually brought it up in our first conversation because I was like, but I also took it with a grain of salt because they were a very different company before. They actually transitioned into a different type of work. Right. And so, I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt that some of those challenges were because they might have been just, in a line of business that was challenging. So anyway, Glassdoor is a good option. I'm going to drop a link to that in the description box because again, you'll see existing employees and past employees dropping reviews about the company, dropping reviews about management, dropping reviews about CEOs. You may also see people who have interviewed with the company talk about the interview process as well. So that's one thing. Glassdoor is one. The next one I'd say is go to LinkedIn, look the company up, and see who are the employees. Do they look like a legit company on LinkedIn? Do they have employees? And feel free to reach out to some of the employees and ask them what it's like to work there, right? Connect with some of the employees and say, hey, I'm in the process of interviewing to work at this company. And I just would love to know from you what you think about working there. Do you enjoy working there? You know what I'm saying? So they're going to do a background check on you. You could do a background check on them. Like, we both got to do our due diligence, right? They've got to do their due diligence to make sure that I'm the right employee, and I've got to do my due diligence to make sure they're the right company. So do that background check, honey. Also, so I said Glassdoor, I said LinkedIn. The third thing I say is check the Better Business Bureau. So look for them just like you would look for a review of a pair of shoes that you're going to buy. Okay. What are the Google reviews on this company? Has anybody filed anything on Better Business Bureau against this company? Right. So, just again, that's another part of that background search, right? Heading over to the Better Business Bureau, heading over to Google to do reviews. And a lot of times you'll see people say this place is a scam. What are their customers saying about them? Not just what are employees saying about them. What are customers saying about them? Because if their customers are saying disparaging things, do you want to work there? Probably not. You probably don't. So I just say, listen to your gut. You employ the common sense, like, does this make sense? What they're asking me for. In 2021, they have hologrammed Tupac 5 years ago. There's no reason why a company needs you to deposit a check. Not in 2021. In 2021, don't nobody need you to deposit no checks, child. Why would they need you to do that? Like, for why? I can literally send my daughter money. Siri will send my daughter money right now. I can be like, let me not say it because she'll do it. I could be like, hey, Siri, send Zion some money. And she will send my daughter some money. Why would anybody need to deposit a check in my account? So, do that common sense check. Like this don't even make sense. But you're right. That is obviously and definitely a scam. Obviously and definitely a scam. Don't let them scam you, girl. I would suggest also, I feel like a lot of people run into scams when they're looking for positions like customer service and data entry. I think a lot of those, what I'd call entry level remote work positions, um, are they can be scammy. A lot of them can be scammy. So what I would say is, well, I'm gonna come back to your comment, Tracy. What I would say is, use a website like FlexJobs. FlexJobs is you have to pay for FlexJobs, right? It was supposed to be for their equipment. So she's saying that they were going to send her a check to. She said they were going to send her a check to pay for the equipment. So let me break down. I feel like you and I had this conversation somewhere on Facebook or somewhere. Me and somebody had this conversation on Facebook, and I said there's four ways. There's a few ways that a company would pay you for equipment, right? So if a company wants to give you equipment to work from home, this is how they'll do it. They're going to send you the equipment. That's thing one. Like they're going to send you the equipment you need. Or two, they'll give you a corporate card to pay for the equipment, right? They'll send you a corporate card and they say pay for the equipment on this. Or they will say, you can pay for the equipment out of pocket. Here's our reimbursement process, right? And that reimbursement process will be the same as your paycheck process. Again, they ain't finna send you no check, child. That check ain't that check. This check's gonna bounce. I, I just, yeah, no. So they'll send you. So my company, I do pay for things out of pocket for my company that I work for. But there's a reimbursement process, and it is direct deposit. It is the same way my paycheck goes. Like if I travel, I have to pay for flights, and then I send a reimbursement either to I send a reimbursement to my company. My company decides, does this reimbursement need to be billed to the client, or is this a company charge? For instance, I bought a new stand for my laptop. I bought a keyboard to go with my laptop, but I paid for that out of pocket. And then I submitted a reimbursement request to my company. And guess what they did? They deposited the reimbursement along with my paycheck. Actually, every month I submit a reimbursement for my cell phone charge because I use my cell phone for work and they pay me via direct deposit to cover my cell phone bill. So yeah, companies, yeah, they may ask you to pay out of pocket for your office equipment, but they will have a reimbursement process in place, and that reimbursement process will be very, very similar to how they pay you. And I hope they're not paying anybody by mailing a check unless that person literally asks for that. Um, what was I saying? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling up. You guys don't have to look at my forehead for just a second. The test I mentioned earlier, I actually mentioned two tests. Excuse me. I said StrengthsFinder. StrengthsFinder is actually the old name for it. If you search for it, I think Gallup will come up. Oh, I know what I was saying. I'm sorry. I got to interrupt myself and go back a little bit. So a lot of entry level remote positions like data entry, customer service are easy to find scammy stuff. And I'd say administrative assistant, virtual assistant. There's a website called FlexJobs. I'm gonna drop it in the description. They pride themselves on vetting those positions so that there aren't scams. It is a paid site. It is in my remote ready bundle. It is in my free guide as well. But I do want to tell you that a membership for 3 months to their site is $30. And right now they have a 50% off. So 3 months is $15. So if you are looking for remote jobs that are, customer service, virtual assistant, data entry, and you want to kind of skip over all these scams, it might be a good idea to, pay the $15. I will put the link in the description box. It's flexjobs.com. And the discount code is flex50, but it's across the top of their website. You can't miss it. So that's an option to help you get past the scams and not waste your time. And I'm sorry that happened to you. I purchased the bundle last week. I'm not sure about all that's included. Can you break it down for me? All that's included is literally on the page. So when you log into the bundle, there's a list on the left-hand side that has all of the videos, all of the resources, all of the classes. And I'm sorry, the only reason why I don't want to break it down is because it's like 40 things. It's like 40 things, but there's a list and they're broken out into sections. So the first video is a welcome video. I just, tell you I'm proud of you and welcome. And then I tell you who I am. And then the first section um, talks about where to find jobs. And there's some videos about um, there's a tutorial video on how to do certain searches. There's a tool that's a search ninja. I mean, that's a search wizard. There is a document that has 75 places to find remote work. And then there's multiple sections. So there's no secret things included. Everything that's included is on that page. As soon as you log in, it is all right there on the left-hand side. So there's nothing secret. At the bottom, there's some bonus resources that are some templates, and a couple of other links to some cool resources as well. But it is all there. I promise you, ain't nothing secret. It's all right there. Yeah, the Better Business Bureau is a forgotten source. A lot of people only go to the Better Business Bureau if they're like raging mad about a company and want to go and file a complaint. Like the amount of mad you got to be to go put something on the Better Business Bureau is pretty high, right? But people don't think about, oh, maybe I should check this out for to see if I want to go work for this company, right? Um When someone asks me for money, automatic cuss out. That's hilarious. All right. I think I hit all the questions that you guys asked. If you don't have any more, thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate you hanging out with me this evening. And Miss J, I really hope that your search starts to yield better results. I'm sorry that you ran into that scam. And I hope you don't let that poison your experience. Just keep going, keep pushing. Um, I've definitely been scammed before, and it sucks. I'm glad that you cut it off and that you listened to your intuition. It was like, I don't know about that. Do I have a list of recruiters who can scan resumes? What do you mean by that? By scan resumes? I am Lola Mac. What do you mean by scan resumes? Do you mean review resumes? Let me know what you mean by that. If you mean review resumes, there are a lot of resume. There's a few resume experts that I follow on Instagram. Um, I can drop links to their sites. Resume Addict. Ah, okay, that's what I thought you meant. Resume Addict is one that I usually talk about. Not Your Mother's Resume is another. Ashley Cash. Ashley Cash does free resume reviews. I'll drop a link to hers as well as to where you can sign up for a free resume review. I think I did a reel and a post a couple months ago, like listing out people that can review resumes. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to put in the description box who those people are. But again, what I'm saying right now is their Instagram handles. And I think that's their websites too, resumeaddict.com, notyourmothersresume.com, and ashleyncash.com. I think. It's fine. You don't have to go find it. I will drop the link in the description box here so that you can get to it pretty easily. Okay. I'll do that after this is over because I do have quite a few. And just so you guys know, I'm working hard on pulling together the Quick Commuting Academy, which is going to be this community that gives you guys more access, more resources. What I'm hoping to do is bring some of those resume reviewers into basically an in-network, so like health insurance, but for your job, where you can get special pricing with them for being part of the community. And that way, if their rate is $150, maybe they take, $50 off of that rate for you because you're part of the Quick Commuting community. So really hoping to bring a lot of those experts, resume reviewers, resume writers, interview coaches and things like that into our community as providers for you guys. So looking forward to that. I think it's probably going to be a January thing because I'm still, tweaking it and trying to make it just right for you guys. And I think there's a lot of work involved in that. But I would like to, I'll throw this out there right now. I would like to have kind of like a focus group meeting. I'll send out a message about that if you guys wouldn't mind hanging out with me to kind of share what you feel like would be the best value. What can I give you in that community that would be of value to you? Right now, what I think is creating this provider network where you can get access to people that can help you do things like update your resume, practice your interview skills, even somebody that can sit down and guide you through a career change. And have those at a discounted rate. The other thing I'd like to have is like a Monday masterclass where every Monday we get together and talk in detail about something career related, be that how to become a freelancer, or what things you need to do um, to make it through an interview, or how to update your LinkedIn account. So we would do that every week on Mondays, and then at least once a month, what I'd like to do is have some recruiters get together and chat with you guys about the positions that they have open, and that way we're bringing you real access to people that can give you positions and give you guys jobs. So that's what I'm thinking about for now. I'd love to have a focus group to kind of talk through those things in detail and get feedback from you guys about what else am I not thinking about. um Lisa Gray, qualitative data nerd. I love that. So I'll let you guys know when we can schedule that focus group, because I would love to hear from you. I know what I think you guys would like and need, but I'd love for you to tell me directly. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. It was fun to hang out with you. And I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go hang out with my parents. Y'all have a good night. I will see y'all next week.